Hello there folks, I'm Dan Brown from sortofinteresting.com and today you are joining me for a Boaty Bikey bonus, which is basically just a little one-off video that I wanted to put together to show you my general commute from the marina that I'm based in at Ellesmere all the way to Oswestry. I say all the way, it's only about 8.5 miles just over, where I work and where most of my friends and family are. So this is a bike ride that I might do several times a week sometimes. I mean, for example, the day that I'm recording this, I've just done it 3 days in a row, to and from. So it certainly is definitely being back to an active life now. I'm back on my second boat that I've lived on, rather than living in Oswestry itself as I did for the last 2 years. But really, as I just want to point out here, I mean, what an amazing, beautiful place the marina is, moored up with all these boats around. And one of my biggest fears, as many people who tune into my videos may know, is that I was very concerned about the potential for there to be noise and for it to sort of just be slightly disturbing with people coming and going to boats and stuff. But after I'd spent my first nights on board in the marina, I couldn't believe how quiet it was. I mean, I really couldn't believe how absolutely silent and peaceful it was. And of course, in the evenings and stuff, it's like, well, just like this is 7:15 in the morning and there's nobody about. It's just a beautiful, peaceful, almost like living on a sheet of glass. The canal itself, the water's that still. And, well, what more could you ask for a start to a workday? This is, as you can see, we've come out of the road entrance of the marina and then we've hopped onto the canal towpath again via the nearest canal bridge. So as this is early in the morning, there's nobody about and nobody's really travelling or anything like that. So we've got a lot of holiday boats in the basin here at Ellesmere. This is the little branch that goes up to Ellesmere itself and practically stops inside the shop. It's so close, it's unbelievable. But really, as I say, you look around and you see this is the opening few minutes of my day on my way into work. What more can you want? And one of the things that sadly isn't in this video is the general nature sounds and your chirping birds in the morning, all of the classic sort of, as you look around here, this is about as stereotypical peaceful canal sort of place and scenery as you could imagine. So here's the great big supermarket right on the canal there. And as we now head up into Ellesmere itself, I suppose I'll just start talking about random bits and bobs, almost more of a miniature podcast this. Don't know how long this is going to go on for, but hopefully not too long, for everybody's sake, not just mine. So Ellesmere itself's a lovely little place. You've got the old town and the new town, and so you've got the mere that some of you may have seen. If you haven't seen it, just a side note for anyone watching this video today or a couple of days after it goes online, I will soon be posting a very short video that I filmed at the top of the church tower in Ellesmere, as that was an open day, so I went up and had a good look around, and again, it was a wonderful experience. And one of the first things I want to say, getting back to this bike ride, is you can see now that we've left Ellesmere, which is only a little place itself to begin with, but now we are out in the proper rural, just proper countryside. And because we're going the main roadway, you can see we're hardly meeting any cars, and it's hardly like it's the rush hour of rush hours trying to get in and out of a city. But because we're going the main roadway, we've got these proper wide roads, and this is sort of, in some respects, the least rural route, as you could go down the country lanes, which are not even half the width of this particular road, and you've got the hedgerows and that growing in over these summer months. And it's something that if I'm not working, then I will go the longer route. This route here is, I think it's going to be 8.6 miles. You can see I'm struggling now as I get to the top of the hill. This is the brow, the big hill halfway sort of between Whittington, which we'll see a little bit more of in just a second. I'll interrupt everything I'm about to say here. And this is what I wanted you to see. This is the view from the brow. So this is looking over the Shropshire Plains, and the hills in the distance are sort of a very loose borderline to mark the beginning of Wales in the distance. And you may see that there is a hot air balloon there floating around. And I just want to throw this little clip in here, as further down the road, I could not believe that I actually found that very hot air balloon landed right at the side of the road here. So that was a little novelty for this ride, after seeing it up in the air from there and then seeing it pretty much practically again riding into it. So back to the actual linear ride. This is before we saw the hot air balloon. So this is coming down the other side of the brow now. And as you can see, after the struggle up the brow, it's very nice to have a good downhill stretch. Especially, you can imagine, even in the mornings, because I'd worn my jumper because I was thinking, oh, right, it's a bit chilly, there's a bit of nip in the air because it's the early, cool mornings before the sun's had a chance to warm everything up. But again, regardless of how chilly it felt when I started the ride, by the time I'd biked up to the top of the brow, I was absolutely sweating like a pig. I'm surprised I didn't actually take my jumper off at the brow when I stopped to do that little bit of filming, to be honest. Now, as I was saying, this, believe it or not, is probably the least rural route back to Oswestry. And I could have gone the country lanes and gone through places like Tetchell and another side note here, this is the Narrowboat Inn and the newly opened Whittington Wharf, where you'll see in other videos there's loads of boats moored up at the side of the canal as I boat past. So that's something to look out for. Some of you may have seen this in one of my previous videos where I was out walking and it absolutely started to hammer down with rain. So it was nice walk up until that point, but then I was very, very wet by the time I'd got back to the boat. And it was just past here where the balloon was at the side of the road, just for anyone who's mega interested for any particular reason. So this is Whittington that we're now entering. Good bit of farm traffic there. Classic early morning commuters themselves, of a sort, I suppose. And Whittington, of course, is somewhere that locally is famous for one particular landmark. And I've got to say, it's one of my favourite little places to have a little walk to. And in the old days, I would be walking to this place. This is Whittington Castle. And, well, it's just about as iconic and beautiful and almost like a classic postcard image of Britain and British history and the countryside as you could get. You've got Whittington, which is just a little village to begin with. And then I pulled up to do this little bit of filming. And then you've got your little castle ruins with the moat and stuff around it. There's some swans who've got a nest on there at the moment. Just, again, as beautiful and wonderful as you could possibly want it to be. And here we are, cutting through Whittington. Whittington as well, on this side of the village, is just about the worst road surface that I've ever biked on. There's potholes dotted around all over the place. There's patchworks of bits and pieces that have been filled in over years, but just the general road surface itself is so bumpy and lumpy. I mean, you can get a general little idea from this video, but I can promise you, once you sit down on a bike with proper thin road bike tyres that are rock hard, you certainly notice the difference in road quality as you're travelling these sort of routes. Ultimately though, I'm trying not to say ultimately in these videos now, as I know I kept saying it endlessly in previous videos. Again, a good pothole just by that manhole cover there as we cross over the railway lines. And that's it, that's pretty much Whittington done and dusted. We're going to pass by Park Hall, we'll get over onto the cycle track. Weirdly, on this ride, not only did I see that amazing balloon sighting, but I also bumped into somebody that I work with just along that road there. And also then another one of my friends who I hadn't seen for probably a couple of years further down by the roundabout, which was unexpected. To say that you sometimes don't see a car or don't see a human being about until obviously you get here. This is the main bypass road, so because it's a beautiful sunny morning, people are off to the seaside and off for days out. So again, depending on what time you pull up here, in the middle of the day, it can be absolutely chaotic because, well, it's a very busy place and this is where the traffic bypasses the town, basically. So you can see we had no difficulty getting across there. But yeah, to say that you often don't see anybody around at all, to suddenly see not only a wonderful balloon sighting up close, but then two people that I actually knew, that's my quota of seeing people that I recognise for the next 2 years taken up. So here are Oswestry, here is Oswestry, and again, there's not too much to say. This is where I was born and bred, so many of the local places and the places we just cycled through I've been biking and walking to over the years and over the last sort of decade or so. And obviously then I bought a boat 6 years ago and had 4 years on one boat, and then went back to dry land and lived in Oswestry for another 2 years. And, well, as you've seen, I'm back out and about on another boat. Just a side note, this isn't my new bike that we are riding here. This is my old Mango bike. Just thought I'd better point that out. And then in the evening, this is I think around 7 p.m. after work, we're walking back down to the boat. We've got the shadows as the sun setting behind us, and what a beautiful start and end to the day. Something I've talked about so much, and now I've finally shown you properly what I actually mean about these beautiful bike rides. So I'll say the usual things at this point. Feel free to subscribe for loads of boat life stuff, loads of boating videos and general life day-to-day on a narrowboat. Feel free to check out my short books for the Kindle and my paperback book about my life when I used to live on Narrowboat Tilly. If you're particularly interested, then something like The Narrowboat Lad, it's only $1.99 at the moment on the Kindle. It's all about my first steps into boat life, so you may or may not find that interesting. But yeah, feel free to add me on Facebook and Twitter and all the rest of the stuff. Loads of links in the descriptions. You'll find me all over the internet posting beautiful pictures of wonderful places and stuff. And well, until the next time, my friends, keep it bike worthy, keep it boat worthy, keep it interesting. Have a fantastic day. And of course, my friends, farewell.